Welcome back, gentlemen. Today we'll be looking at addition and subtraction of matrices. And there's something that you need to know. There's a condition that has to exist before you attempt to try to add or subtract two matrices to or from each other. Now, in order for you to be able to add two matrices to each other or subtract one from another, they have to be of the same order. So if they're not of the same order, addition cannot occur and subtraction cannot occur. So matrices can only be added to or subtracted from each other if they are of the same order. If they're not of the same order, this addition or subtraction cannot occur. So in other words, you can't take up any two matrices and proceed to add them together. They must be of the same order. So that means you can only add, for example, you can only add a 2 by 3 matrix to another 2 by 3 matrix, or you can add a 2 by 1 matrix to another 2 by 1 matrix. So you cannot add a 3 by 1 matrix to a 2 by 3 matrix because they're not of the same order. So that is very important. So addition and subtraction of matrices can only occur if the matrices are of the same order. So I hope that is very clear to everybody. Okay, so let's look at a very simple example of addition of matrices. So for example, given and determine 1 a plus b and 2 a minus b. So let's look at this question here. So we're given a matrix A, which is 1, 2, 0, negative 5, and another matrix which is B, and that is equal to 7, 8, 1, and 4. Now obviously this is a 2 by 2 matrix, and this also is a 2 by 2 matrix. So that simply means that because they're of the same order, that this is possible to occur. So we can add them and we can subtract them. So you're good to go. So let's proceed with that straight away. So I just want to have this up here so you can see the original question. All right. So let's get to part 1, which is involving adding both matrices together. So we know that A comes first, and A is 1, 2, 0, negative 5, and that is added to B, which is 7, 8, 1, and 4. Now that the condition exists and we can go ahead with the addition, the way we do it is simple. So what we're going to do is, in order to add these matrices, we're going to add the corresponding elements. So add corresponding elements. Okay, so we're going to add the corresponding elements. What do we mean? This element here corresponds with that element. This element corresponds with that one. This element corresponds with this, and this element corresponds with that. So it's pretty straightforward. So the steps are also very important. Maybe not so much with this example, but as we progress further, you're going to understand why I'm going to write this step. So it would be 1 plus 7. So that is 1 plus 7. 2 plus 8. So we have 2 plus 8 here. 0 plus 1. And negative 5 plus 4. Now, this step is very important again when it comes on to more a little bit more challenging questions, because this step is extremely important in pointing out a couple of things, especially when it comes on to matrices having algebraic expressions in them. So this is simply going to be 8, 10, 1, and of course negative 5 plus 4 is negative 1. So therefore A plus B is simply going to be 8, 10, 1, and negative 1. So that would be the answer to the first part of the question. So I've answered this part. Okay, so you can always pause the video and look at what we did. Now, in doing part 2, so let's look at part 2. Okay, so we're asked to find A minus B. Again, the matrix that comes first is A. That's very important. So we're going to put 1, 2, 0, negative 5. And we're subtracting from that B, which is 7, 8, 1, and 4. Okay, so this is simply going to be 1 minus 7. Remember, we're subtracting the corresponding elements. So it will be 2 minus 8, 0 minus 1, and negative 5 minus 4. So what we would have here is 1 minus 7 is negative 6, 2 minus 8 is negative 6, 0 minus 1 is negative 1, and minus 5 minus 4 is minus 9. So therefore, A minus B, of course, is equal to that. Very straightforward. All right. So again, matrices can only be added to each other or subtracted from each other if they are of the same order. You cannot add or subtract matrices if they're not of the same order. Let's just give a rough example of, again, for those persons not understanding that. If I have this matrix and somebody wrote this on a piece of paper and it's addition here, this cannot happen simply because they are not of the same order. This matrix here is a 2 by 2 matrix. This matrix here is a 2 by 1 matrix. So it means this cannot happen. Okay? So in order for you to add matrices, they must be of the same order. Okay, let's take a look at another quick question. All right. So example 2. Given A, let's not, yeah, A equals 2x minus 1 and 3y, and B is equal to 3x minus 4 and y minus 7. Determine 1, A plus B, and 2, A minus B. So let's look at the second example here. So I'm just going to put that there so we can clearly see. All right, so notice now that we have two 2 by 1 matrices. So I need to stress on that. So just going to indicate here that this is a 2 by 1 matrix, and this is also a 2 by 1 matrix, because we have 2x minus 1 and 3y, and 2x minus 4 and y minus 7. So this is one element and this is one element here. So we're looking at two 2 by 1 matrices. So let's see if we can work this problem. So let's come back here and let's attempt to do part 1. So now part 1 is asking us for A plus B. Now remember what we said. Whenever we have matrices with algebraic expressions in them, we have to be double careful. So for part 1, A comes first, so it's 2x minus 1 and 3y added to 3x minus 4 and y minus 7. So this would simply be 2x minus 1. And because it's addition, I can get away with a lot when it's addition. So I don't have to put these in bracket here, but for practice you can, but because it's addition, I can get away with it. So it's plus 3x minus 4 and then 3y plus y minus 7. So I'm adding the corresponding elements. So it is a good idea to group the like terms from here, but as you know that I don't have a lot of space, so I'm just going to go straight into the final answer. All right, so it is 2x, but I recommend that you group the like terms together. So I'm recommending that. Make sure you group the like terms before you proceed. 2x plus 3x, that would give me 5x. And negative 1 minus 4 is simply negative 5. So 2x plus 3x is 5x, and negative 1 minus 4, well, that's negative 5. 3y plus y, well, that is 4y, and we have minus 7. So that would be the final answer. So therefore, a plus b in this case is 5x minus 7 and 4y minus 7. And that would be your final answer. Now, when it comes on to part 2 now, a minus b, because it's a subtraction and because we're dealing with algebraic expression now, this problem now, you have to pay special attention to. So essentially, I'm just going to put an asterisk right here because this one is extremely important for you to remember that when you're working with algebraic expressions, now, you need to put them in bracket. Okay, so let's get the ball rolling with part 2. So for part 2, it's a minus b, and again a comes first, and that is 2x minus 1, 3y. It's a subtraction problem. Now it's a subtraction problem. Now you definitely have to put brackets on the algebraic expressions in the second matrix. Very, very important. So this would be 3x minus 4, y minus 7. And because it's subtraction, I'm dealing with algebraic expressions. I'm just going to put that here because I don't want to forget. Very, 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 very important. So this is going to be equal to 2x minus 1 minus open bracket 3x minus 4. And this is 3y minus y minus 7. And that is what you should have for this step. Without the brackets, it's incorrect for sure. So make sure you have the brackets there. Seeing that it's subtraction, the brackets are absolutely important. When it was addition, it wasn't so much. But with subtraction, you have to have the brackets. So the next step now, so that 2x minus 1. So what this minus sign is going to do is going to change all the signs inside the bracket in order for us to remove the bracket. So the minus sign is going to change all the signs inside the bracket, as you know when we were doing expansion. So it's going to be minus 3x plus 4 right off the bat. For this one, 3y minus y plus 7. So far, let me just move this out of the way. So far, this is what we have for the problem. Obviously, it's not finished, but we're on the way to completion. So for here, we have, continuing, we have, can group the like terms though, because I have a little bit of space. So 2x minus 3x minus 1 plus 4 here. And this one doesn't need any grouping, it's already grouped. So we can move straight into our final answer now. So this would be 2x minus x is minus 1x, or just minus x, minus 1 plus 4, that is plus 3, 3y minus y, that is 2y plus 7. So this would simply be equal to, therefore a minus b will be equal to minus x plus 3 and 2y plus 7. So that will be our final answer there. All right, so that's how you go about adding and subtracting matrices. They have to be of the same order. All right, that's right off the bat. They must be of the same order, or else you cannot add or subtract them. All right, Let's just run through a third example. So I'm just going to move this out of the way. Let's see if I can get the third example finished. So example 3. Let's see if we can use bigger matrices here. Example 3, given M equals 3A 4 1 minus a half B 6. All right, this is a 6. That's a 6 there. Okay, and N equals minus 4A 2 15 a quarter 5B, and let's put this at minus 6. All right, so determine N minus M. All right, so you have to be careful of which matrix comes first. All right, so sometimes they'll switch it around on you. All right, so make sure that you pay attention to that. So we have two 2 by 3 matrices, 2 rows and 3 columns. So this is a 2 by 3, 2 rows, 3 columns. So this is also a 2 by 3 matrix. So they have the same order. So that means we're allowed to do a subtraction. So we're good to go. So I'm just going to put that across there so we can see it as we attempt to work the problem. So again, just to reiterate, even though you've heard it already, you cannot add matrices or subtract matrices unless they have the same order. So bear that in mind. Please bear that in mind. All right, so let's see if we can do the work this question here. So N comes first, minus M would be equal to, and N is minus 4A 2 15 a quarter 5B minus 6, and we're going to subtract from that matrix A. Sorry about this, gentlemen, I really don't have a lot of space. So this is 3A 4 1 minus a half B and 6. Remember, this is 6 over there. So yeah, so equals, so remember corresponding elements are minus 4A minus 3A, minus 4A minus 3A, 2 minus 4, so it's 2 minus 4, 15 minus 1, 15 minus 1 there, a quarter minus negative a half. So you have to watch out for this now. Watch out for these things there. This minus sign is completely different from this one. So watch out for that. So a quarter minus negative a half. So you have to be mindful of things like these. 5B minus B, and of course minus 6 plus 6. All right. So what we have here, minus 4A minus 3A, that's obviously minus 7A. 2 minus 4, that's negative 2. 15 minus 1, that is 14. And what we have here now, don't rush this. So it will be a quarter plus a half now, because a negative sign changes sign inside the bracket whenever we're going to remove the bracket. So be careful of that. 5B minus B, well, that's 4B. And minus 6 plus 6, that's just 0. So the only part we need to work out is here. So I'm going to put that over there. And what we need to do is just work out this problem. So this would simply be equal to minus 7A minus 2, 14, a quarter plus a half, 4B and 0. And of course, you know, a quarter plus a half is 3/4, but just for emphasis, we can make the denominators the same here. We could go ahead and write the 3/4, that's fine. So what you'd have here is minus 7A minus 2, 14, a quarter plus 2 over 4, 4B and 0, and equal to, final answer, minus 7A minus 2, 14, 3 over 4, 4B, and 0. All right. So, gentlemen, I hope you found this video insightful on the addition and subtraction of matrices. Remember a couple of things. Matrices can only be added to each other if they're of the same order. So that is right off the bat. Matrices, we just reiterate this. Addition and subtraction of matrices. Matrices can only be added to or subtracted from each other if they are of the same order. If they're not of the same order, addition and subtraction cannot occur. All right, so please review this video. I'm going to be sending a question or two in the session. So make sure that you review this video as many times as you want after the session is over. And I hope you found this video insightful. And I'll see you guys on the next video.